Hey guys, well I'm here today at the
Launch Control Center. This is the Delta Operations Center, and this is the room where everybody actually pushes the buttons and fuels the rocket and gets it ready for launch.
In case you guys weren't aware, I am joined by Tony Taliancich, the Director and General Manager of Launch Operations for United Launch Alliance. Now Tony today is going to give us a behind-the-scenes peek, a little bit of info about what it takes to actually launch a rocket. So Tony, first question. Before that 24-hour window before the launch opens up, walk us through what it takes to get one of these massive vehicles off the pad.
As you understand, Jason, it's a very detailed and long process. It starts months before launch, where we bring the rockets in from our factory in Decatur, Alabama. They come on a barge. We move them into the horizontal integration facility, which you can see out on the horizon. That building where we do horizontal checkout and verification of the rocket. We check out the upper stage, we integrate them together, and about a month or so before launch, we move that whole vehicle stack out to the pad. Once you've got the vehicle at the pad, you've got to do some more checkouts, but one of the critical stages that we're at now is actually going to the spacecraft over at the Astrotech facility and encapsulating the spacecraft and getting it ready for launch. From the point the spacecraft's ready and encapsulated, we'll bring it over here and stack it on top of the rocket. That'll happen here not too long from now. And from the point of stacking the spacecraft on the rocket, we'll do an integrated systems check, verification that everything's working properly, and then we'll close it out, secure everything, step away, and come back in on launch day to launch.
So give our viewers a rough guesstimate when that happens, from when the parts leave Decatur to when they're ready for that one point. About how much time do you say has elapsed?
So it depends on the particular mission. For a heavy mission, that's a little bit earlier, so it may be 5 or 6 months ahead of the launch to actually be able to get the big parts and start doing some of that processing. The second stage a little bit sooner. The spacecraft can come in on its own timeline and kind of integrate, and then we come in several weeks, a couple of weeks before launch and work through that integration encapsulation process, and then integrate them together about in the next few days.
Okay, so the day arrives, 24 hours out. What happens from that period, or is it 24 hours out? Give us an idea.
So it's not quite 24 hours, but we do have 2 shifts of people to come in and do it because it is a very long day. We'll have a shift come in early in the day and actually prepare all the ground systems, get them ready, get the tower positioned, get all the platforms back and ready, and then move the tower out of the way. That'll occur 6 to 8 hours before launch. Once we've got the tower rolled back and the rockets exposed at the pad, we'll prepare everything for the cryogenic operations, where we actually load the liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen on the rocket. That's about 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours before launch, where we start that process. We fuel the whole rocket and get it ready, and that 3.5 hours get to the last 45 minutes or so, and we'll go through the final systems check, and then we do the most important thing, and that's to poll everybody to make sure they're ready to launch.
Right. Now, one of the questions I actually have, and I believe I understand what it means, is right when we're getting down to that minute where you're green board. What does green board actually mean for our viewers that don't know, to help me too?
So, as I mentioned, we get everything ready, and essentially everything's on the rocket is secured and done. No additional commands or steps going to the rocket. Then we do all the polling. From the time we go and poll the team that everything's ready, we'll actually get to the position of handing over the operation to a computer. That's where the green board comes in, because once the computer picks up a little over 3.5 minutes before launch, before T0, there's a computer that steps through all the additional actions that need to occur to prepare for launch. And that green board is where every light turns green that says all the systems, all the steps, so everything's been accomplished properly, and the system's ready to let go of the rocket.
Now, we actually understand that there's actually 2 layers. This is the lower level of the launch control center. There's one above us. Can you give us a rough estimate on launch day, how many people are required to launch one of these rockets?
Sure. There's a lot more people than everybody realizes, both here and around the country. But for this facility, we're in the Delta Operations Center. We're about 1.7 miles away from the pad, so we're really close. We try to minimize the number of people in this facility. In the Launch Control Center, we may have 80 or so people at the different consoles, whether primary controllers or backups or support people in this area. The next floor up, on the 4th floor, we actually have the Mission Director Center, and that's where all the senior management team and the programmatic team sits and watches, monitors, and ensures that all of the support systems and all the management teams are ready to go. And so in this facility, maybe total of a couple of hundred people. And then back away from this facility, we have a number of engineers that are following every step of the operation in Denver, in our Delta Operations Center back there. Also contributing to this team, addressing any anomalies or issues or concerns, but also ensuring that the team has all the support they need to be able to get ready for launch.
Now, can you tell us, when you guys are launching an Atlas as opposed to a Delta, do you do it out of the same facility, and how different are the variables between launching a Delta and Atlas?
So the Delta 4 and the Atlas 5 rockets are very different. You've got a LOX hydrogen system for Delta, and you've got a LOX RP system for Atlas. They have different control systems. They have a similar type of computer that runs them, but they're configured specifically for those vehicles. So there's a different control center for each one. And for Atlas, that control center is over in the ASOC, where we've been a number of other times. We have the ability to remote in the Mission Director Center, but especially all the data that we generate in either facility can be monitored at the other facility. So for a Delta launch here, we can actually have engineers sitting on workstations over in the ASOC following the operation here, as well as the people back in Denver.
Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.